Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Socom Insurgency. This is just going to be an update video to bring some of you guys up to speed with what's been going on. There are a lot of developments happening all the time. Redline and the guys that are working on the game are bringing out stuff constantly. So before I get into what's been added to the game right now, I just want to show you guys something that they're working on. Many SOCOM 2 veterans probably recognize this. This is Fishhook. They are working on it, as I said, and it's one of those things, it takes a little bit of time to get things right. So the community is really excited about this. Everybody's talking about it. We can't wait to get back in there and play it. And, it might not be just as laggy as we remember it from back in the day. Because there was, for some reason, I don't know what it was with Fishhook. It was just kind of a laggy map for some reason. Now, this was an extraction map, so hopefully they'll have extraction ready by the time this comes out. They probably mentioned it when the live stream was going on, because they did allow me to take this footage from their live stream they had the other night. But I kind of got caught up in their co-op mode that they had. I jumped into there just to play with the Redline and those guys for a while they were live streaming, and I kind of got out of the loop a little bit. But these textures that you guys are seeing here, this is kind of placeholder stuff. It's not done. This isn't representative of what it's going to look like. It'll look a lot better. One thing that I don't believe I've mentioned in any of my Socom Insurgency videos is that they said they plan on bringing back every single map. And that's something that's going to be just like really hard to do. And I wish them all the luck in the world, but it's going to take a lot of time. I don't know if hard is really the word I'm looking for here, but it's going to be very time consuming. And Redline was talking about everything is built to scale, because I guess they had like an emulated version. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. I'm probably going to be way off. They have like an emulated version of SOCOM 2 where they can render everything to scale. So it kind of does that step for them. So everything in the maps is scaled perfectly, like 100%. They said this scaling is perfect. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. So I'm very excited to get in there and start playing this. They don't. I don't believe they put up an ETA on when they expect it to be ready, but hopefully it's soon. I know it takes these guys a while to get stuff done, and I think Blood Lake is going to be the next map they work on. I believe Redline said that was one of his favorite maps. Blood Lake was just one of those maps for me. It was just kind of there. I did play it, but I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite maps. But it was fun. I probably like Death Trap better if we're going to get into the jungle maps. And definitely loved the ruins. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about co-op. They released a co-op version of the game. I'm probably not going to be playing it. Well, I might throw it in there just by myself. And the reason why I say I might not be playing it is because if I want to play with other people, I have to go on the vanilla original Insurgency servers, because nobody in the SOCOM community is playing the co-op, which really sucks. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The bots in this game, they're very clever, and they are lethal. I mean, they're lethal. So if you've got a team of 8 guys that are good, you're going to be hard-pressed to get through the map and take the objectives and win, because the bots are brutal, man. They're just absolutely brutal. I was hiding behind cover, and one of them threw a Molotov and burned me. I mean, they just wreck you. It's kind of funny sometimes, but it definitely takes a lot of tactics and a lot of teamwork in order to win a co-op match. And it does remind me of Combined Assault, which was the only reason why I ever really played Combined Assault. That, and because the single player I thought was absolutely phenomenal. I didn't really care for the maps in Combined Assault. It was just I don't know. I was a big fan of Citadel from SOCOM 3, so I just pretty much stuck with that in Fault when I was playing Combined Assault, which basically was just an expansion, let's be honest. But the co-op is a lot of fun, and I'm hoping people will take to it a little bit more. We don't have a lot of people playing SOCOM Insurgency right now. I'm trying to get the word out there and spread it. I would really appreciate it if you guys would share my videos on SOCOM Insurgency and get them out there. Leave a like, please leave a like, so that it goes up to the top of the list and people see it when they do searches for SOCOM. Now, the maps for co-op, they're not using any of the original SOCOM maps for that stuff, which I think is, I don't know. I can see why they're not doing it, because you can just play against bots if you want to in an empty room. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really make sense. But the vanilla maps, I have to say, the maps for Insurgency, just the standard game, are phenomenal maps. They are really well designed. They remind me of SOCOM in many ways, and they're just really good. And one of the things that that Redline had said that turned him onto the game right away was how similar the maps were to SOCOM, and how the game just had that SOCOM feeling as soon as he fired it up. And that's when he decided to do something with it and to drop Counter-Strike Go. Also because the game was so much easier for him to tweak and mod. But yeah, I can't give those guys credit enough. The original Insurgency team that made the maps, they're really good. But yeah, I really I'm repeating myself here, but I really wish people would play on the SOCOM maps, because I do like playing in third person better than first person, but I don't mind first person either. I can switch between the two. I'm not one of those people who's like, third person only or first person only. I like both. Alright, so enough about the co-op. Moving right along here, they did add some of the sounds when people throw grenades.
You got fucked. Good round, boys. Cocaine, buddy.
You can hear all the classic SOCOM sounds. You know, you can hear all the classic the voiceovers that they use when the terrorists win the round. You hear the terrorist music and the CL music. They added all the music and stuff in there, so that's finally in there. That was added about a week ago, and it does heighten the experience. It does give you that SOCOM nostalgia. So a big one that everybody seems to be happy about is they did add demolition finally. We do have a classic SOCOM game mode, and it's a lot of fun. But the thing is people aren't really going for the bomb like they would in SOCOM. Now, there's always been camping in SOCOM. Let's be real. It's SOCOM. It's people do that. You know, it's a third-person shooter. You can look around corners and shit like that. You're gonna have that kind of stuff camping. It's just the way it is in shooters. But in Insurgency, it seems to be more so than it was in SOCOM. Maybe I'm not remembering it right. But yeah, people like to camp in the game. And the reason for that, I think, is because you die so quickly. So in my experience, people aren't really going for the bomb that much. I have noticed, you know, a few times people have picked it up and planted it, and it's always nice to hear that bomb planted and bomb defused and shit like that. All that voiceover stuff is in there. It's really nice. But yeah, people are campy, and with good reason. You get shot, you die fast. There's no denying how quick you die in this game. It's very realistic. Which brings me to my next point. We are going to see them increase the strafing speed, and we're also going to see them increasing the health, so that people don't go down so quickly, and we can get some of that strafing that was in SOCOM. Now, I know there's two kinds of people that play SOCOM, and one of them I'm just kind of fucking confused about, but I have seen this. There's people that like the strafing, and I've mentioned this before. I love strafing. I think it's ingrained in the game. It's a part of what SOCOM is. It might not be what they intended for it to be online. You know, strafing didn't really seem to work when you played single player. You just got shot up. You had to be really stealthy. But, you know, it's something that became part of the series. And it's just, it's so ingrained in the very fiber of SOCOM. Everybody remembers those strafing matches where you're just trying to outgun somebody, and I love it. And then you've got the other people out there, they're like, well, that's never the way it was intended, and it's just really stupid, and they've kind of moved away from that, which is really strange, because I don't know how you guys ever made it through SOCOM 1 through 3, or Combined Assault, rather. How did you hang in there? I don't know. Why do you even like SOCOM? Because that was such a big part of SOCOM. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says, dude. You can sit there and type up, no, it wasn't. Fuck you. Fuck you. Strafing, seriously. Strafing was a big part of SOCOM. Don't tell me it wasn't. I get so mad when I read that shit. It was a massive part of what SOCOM was. So yeah, if you didn't like strafing, oh well, don't really care. I think that's something that needs to be brought into the game. I think we need to see more health, and we need the speed, you know, the strafing speed adjusted. And the reason why they haven't done that, and I've talked to them about it, and they've said this before, is because the animations don't match up with the speed. They have to actually, you know, I think they're in the middle of talking to the devs to try to get some help from them with character movement so that it doesn't look really floaty. If you're moving really fast and your character's legs aren't moving as fast, it's going to look like you're kind of floating or skating across the map, and nobody wants to see that shit. That just destroys immersion. Nobody wants that. So hopefully that gets worked out soon, because it really is frustrating. It's really weird because it's SOCOM, but it's not SOCOM. And the only reason why it's not SOCOM is because you go down so quickly, and you can't strafe. Strafing just does not work. You either pop out of cover and hit someone, lean and hit someone, or you're standing still for the most part when you're shooting. There is no movement, which is more realistic, yes, but SOCOM was never about being realistic. And some people, I've seen this, I've seen people say, oh yeah, it was realistic military shooter. No, it wasn't. SOCOM was very, very much an arcade shooter. Okay? It just was. If that hurts you or somehow offends your sensibility, I'm fucking sorry for you. But SOCOM had that arcade feeling to it. It was not Arma or something like that, and it definitely wasn't Insurgency. Insurgency shares many, many qualities with SOCOM, and that's why I highly recommend it for everybody, because it does share a lot of qualities. It's the closest we've got to SOCOM, especially with this mod. Even without the mod, I would be recommending Insurgency, okay? So that's just something that I got to put out there. It's a great game on its own, even without the mod, but you got to have the strafing. You got to have it so you don't go down so quickly. And I do know in SOCOM 1 you went down faster than you did in SOCOM 2, and it was it was like a hit detection thing or what have you. But yeah, I don't. That's the one thing I don't vibe with Insurgency, and hopefully it gets fixed soon. Now, another thing that I think is worth mentioning is they did say that they want to get PMN mines into the game and claymores, and they think that's going to be pretty easy to implement. I don't think it'll be too hard. Something that is not in the vanilla version of Insurgency, but I can't really see that being too tough to do. You just kind of use like a grenade or something like that. Maybe change it a little bit so that it blows outward with the claymore. But yeah, that's something they want to get into the game. I'm interested in seeing that. It adds that SOCOM feeling to it, especially with some of the maps like Sujo and shit like that. You got to watch where you're stepping in Sujo. Everybody, I'm sure everybody remembers that, fondly or not fondly. I know a lot of people don't like PMN mines. I don't know how I feel about them. I usually just got killed from them. I did a pretty good job at avoiding my teammates when they called them out. Not stepping on their mines, but it's something that I think needs to be put into the game. Just a little side note here. I've noticed there are some people using RPGs. And if you use RPGs, whatever, that's your thing, man. I don't want to take away from you, but when I get killed by an RPG, all I can think of is the way people used to rag on people for shit like that, especially when using a noob tube. I fucking hate noob tubes more than anything. RPGs, they piss me off. They always have, and it's one of the reasons why I like playing on no boom rooms. So sometimes you don't want to deal with some douchebag camping in the corner with an RPG. And grenades get on your nerves after a while. It'd be nice to see if they could put stuff like that into it, but it's like I said, it's not that popular yet. So if they do have like no boom rooms and stuff that you can get started on, or maybe make it so that you can vote to turn that shit off and disable it, that would be nice. But at this juncture, it's not big enough for that. Hopefully that does come down the pipeline eventually. It takes me back to this game I had yesterday. This kid that I'm not gonna name anybody because I'm not gonna do that shit. But he was just camping with an RPG like the whole fucking game, all game long. He was just sitting in crossroads in the terrorist spawn, just hitting everybody with an RPG, and they were winning. They were like 5-0, and this dude was still camping with RPGs. Somebody else was too. It's kind of a bitch move. But anyway, now they got that little side rant out of there. I've always preferred running and gunning to boom anyway. That's just the way I am, man. The game does have a ranking system. You can check your ranking. You type in ranks or something like that, and you can see where your rank is. There's also an official site where you can go, and all your statistics are on there. Redline said he could see everything, like every weapon you've used on any map, what your headshot percentage is with, an M4A1 silenced. All that shit is on there. I'm not one of those guys who sweats rank. I used to back in the day, but I found that it became just too tedious. It wasn't as fun anymore when you're worried about that kind of stuff. I don't care about my rank, dude. I just want to have fun. Now, just one more thing before I wrap this up, because it is starting to get long. I want to go through and I want to name off all the maps. And I want to ask you guys what your favorite map is. I've done this before, but I'm going to do it again. I want to see you in the comments section, loud and proud. Favorite maps, top 3. I'll be civil about it. I don't expect you to pick one map. All right. So we've got Frostfire, Blizzard, Night Stalker, Desert Glory, Rat's Nest, Abandoned, The Ruins, Blood Lake, Bitter Jungle, Death Trap, Sandstorm, Fish Hook, Crossroads, Fox Hunt, The Mixer, Vigilance, Requiem, Guidance, Chain Reaction, Sujo, and Enawapi. Oh, and Shadow Falls. We can't forget Shadow Falls. That map that nobody ever fucking played because it was too goddamn dark. And that brings me to another point. Redline says that he wants to get that map out there and he wants to brighten it up so people actually play it. Because I did like that map. I liked the design of it. It was fun. It was pretty basic from what I remember. I remember fireflies everywhere, not being able to see a goddamn thing. So yeah, people turned up their excuse me, people turned up the brightness on their TV, which I think everybody did anyways. And then of course we've got the whole DLC maps, if you will, the hard disk drive maps: After Hours, Liberation, and Last Bastion. 3 maps that I never played because I did not have the hard disk drive. Yes, can you believe that? As much as I talk about Socom on this channel, I never played those fucking maps, guys. So it'd be nice to see those get remade as well. I can enjoy them for the first time ever. And you know what? I think I'm going to look them up on YouTube and just watch people play through them because, god damn it, I never got to play them. And that's like some serious regret I got going here. But yeah, there was a lot of maps. You know, that's 22, 23, 24, 25 maps altogether. So, yeah, SOCOM 2 was no slouch when it comes to maps. They want to remake all of these maps. And, you know, I wish them all the luck in the world because that's a lot of work. That's going to take a while. And hopefully they will get it all done. And I think that'll bring back a large part of the community. If they get all those maps down, they get the strafing and the health thing, I think that's going to go a long way. This could become pretty popular over time. And it's something, like I said, they're working on over time. It takes a while. But I'm going to be here. I'm going to be covering it. I'm going to be telling you guys each and everything that comes out. I'm not going to come out, like, if they add something, like one thing, I'm not just going to make a whole video on it. I'm going to wait for like 3 or 4 different things to be mentioned before I deem it worthy of making an entire video about it. There are votes as well that they have on Monday nights. They have the podcast on Monday nights, and during these Monday night podcasts, they will have like a voting system that pops up in the chat on Twitch where you can vote for things that you want. We just had a vote asking people if you want to be able to hear the enemy when they throw a grenade. Like if somebody says, Rohila, if you want to hear it. And everybody voted yes, because in the original SOCOM, I don't believe you could hear when they would yell a grenade. Like if they were throwing a grenade, you wouldn't hear it. You would just see the little flash indicating that a grenade or something was thrown. Without hearing the gunshot, you just assume, fuck, somebody threw a grenade. Well, now you can hear it verbally when somebody throws a grenade. So if you hear that and you're camping in a corner, you're probably going to start to shit your pants a little bit, and you might want to get up and move. Taunts have also made a return, but for some reason he kind of made that like a VIP thing. You have to have so many hours in the game of playing ranked games, or like so many kills. I think it was 25 hours of playing the game, or 1,000 confirmed ranked kills. Which I don't know how I feel about that. It's cool to have people work towards something, and you know, you're elite so that you can taunt. But it is in there. If you put your time in, you'll be able to use the taunts, and they're just all the taunts that you remember from back in the day. Alright, I'm going to shut up, because if I don't, I'm just going to keep rambling on. I thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.